For most of human history, predicting the moon wasn't a matter of apps, satellites, or supercomputers. It was done with wood, ink, parchment, and gears. Long before digital computers existed, medieval scholars built systems that could reliably predict the moon's phases months, or even years, into the future. These systems didn't use electricity, but they followed something just as powerful: rules, cycles, and computation. In a very real sense, the Middle Ages had computers. They were just made of brass and numbers instead of silicon. To understand how this worked, we need to start with the moon itself.
Behind every moment lies a scientific wonder. I'm Kale, and welcome to SciCurios, where curiosity meets science.
The moon doesn't follow the calendar we use today. Its phases repeat every 29.53 days, a period known as the synodic month. This mismatch with the 30 or 31-day calendar caused constant problems, especially for medieval Europe, where religious life depended on knowing the exact date of Easter. Easter wasn't fixed. It depended on the first full moon after the spring equinox. That meant predicting the moon accurately was not optional. It was essential. So medieval scholars developed a system called the Computus. Despite the name, the Computus wasn't a single machine. It was a method, a set of mathematical rules, tables, and cycles that allowed scholars to calculate future lunar phases using arithmetic alone. At its core was a powerful discovery inherited from ancient Greek astronomy: the Metonic cycle. 19 solar years are almost exactly equal to 235 lunar months. That means after 19 years, the moon's phases repeat on the same calendar dates. Medieval scholars used this cycle like a reusable algorithm. Once you knew where you were in the 19-year cycle, you could predict future full moons with surprising accuracy. These calculations were written into tables, dense grids of numbers copied by hand into manuscripts. To us, they might look like medieval spreadsheets. To them, they were predictive models of the sky. But medieval computation didn't stop at paper. They also built analog devices that physically modeled celestial motion. One of the most famous was the Astrolabe. At first glance, an astrolabe looks like a decorative brass disc. In reality, it's a portable astronomical calculator. By rotating its plates, users could determine the position of the sun, stars, and, yes, the moon, for a given date and latitude. It didn't calculate electronically. It calculated geometrically. Rotation replaced arithmetic. Motion replaced math. And then came the most astonishing devices of all: astronomical clocks. By the late Middle Ages, clockmakers were building towers filled with gears that didn't just tell time. They modeled the cosmos. Some clocks showed the moon's phase, its age, and even its position in the zodiac. Each gear ratio encoded a known astronomical cycle. When the gears turned together, the machine produced predictions automatically, day after day, year after year. This is exactly how modern analog computers work. The machine didn't know astronomy. It embodied astronomy. Centuries later, archaeologists would rediscover even older geared mechanisms, confirming that this tradition of mechanical prediction stretched far back into antiquity. What medieval scholars lacked in electronics, they compensated for with patience, observation, and deep respect for cycles. They watched the sky for generations. They recorded patterns. They corrected errors. And slowly, they transformed nature into numbers and numbers into machines. So when we think of computers as a modern invention, that's only half the story. The logic of computation, the idea that complex natural behavior can be predicted using rules and models, was already alive in monasteries, workshops, and clock towers hundreds of years ago. The moon we track with satellites today is the same moon they tracked with gears and ink. Different tools, same sky, and perhaps the most humbling thought of all: their predictions were often right. If medieval scholars could calculate the moon with no electricity, no screens, and no code, what does that say about the power of human curiosity? And what other forgotten technologies might still be waiting in the past? Which ancient or medieval technology do you think deserves more credit as an early form of science or computation, and why?
Science is everywhere if you just know where to look. Thanks for watching SciCurious. Until next time.